And we're live. I think we're popping through. There we go. Hey, happy Saturday to you guys. It's 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay, no matter where you're at in the world. We're going to start off this week, as we do every week, as asking where people are from. And I love sort of diving in with you guys for the questions. A lot of folks that watch our channel are from out of the area. They're relocating from the UK, Canada, California, all over the world. So I'd love to hear where you guys are watching from today. I hope you're doing well wherever you're at. For those of you who don't know, if this is your first time watching live, I'm Ken Pozek. I'm a real estate agent and Orlandonian. I'm passionate about theme parks and Orlando in general. We're going to talk about today, we're talking about jobs in Orlando. We're talking about some multi-billion-dollar projects that we're just getting ready to announce. We're talking about some stuff that I'm excited about, not just over the next year, but the next decades to come, and why I'm so bullish about living in Orlando. And so thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys get some good information out of this live stream today. What's going on, Josh, man? Did you guys close on your house then? 628, right? What's going on from Puerto Rico? Laura from the UK. Jeff, what's going on? Walnut Creek, California. Multitasking, I appreciate it. Tuning in. Jeff from Minnesota. Thank you. Brian from California. SK from New Jersey. I love it. I love it so much. So thank you guys so much. I am curious along the way. Not curious. I'm always curious. But if you guys want to drop your questions along the way, I'm happy to slow down, answer them along the way today as well. We are going to dive into some cool things that I found and really talk about just things I'm most excited about. And I want to get your feedback as well, because I think that's what makes this show a little bit more fun. So let's get into that today. So drop this banner. Boom. All right. So let's get into a couple stories from today. For those of you that haven't heard, if you're a Disney fan and you're living in under a rock or something like that, the fireworks finally returned. And I'm excited because we live in an area of Orlando where I can actually see them out of our backyard, out of our top bedroom window. It's really exciting. It's kind of loud, to be quite honest. But fireworks are back at Disney, at Epcot, at Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom. So we're super excited about that. And that really leads me to, like, I'm most excited about things are starting to get back to normal more and more, right? Casey's is open. If you guys don't know, Casey's at Magic Kingdom, they're like the hot dog place. It's baseball themed. They had a little piano player outside, and that's opening up again. And so it's just feeling as though we're getting beyond the pandemic. And honestly, living here and having that be such a big part of our life for so long, being able to pop over anytime we wanted to, and then having that be gone for 18 months was kind of a big deal for us, as you could imagine. So for those of you that travel here for fun, right, you get to come back and enjoy it. For those of you that live here or want to live here, that's getting to be a little bit cooler. And so theme parks are huge, right? That's what we're known for here in Orlando, but there's so much else coming that we're going to dive into today that I'm really excited about. But as it relates to the theme parks, here's a couple other things that I'm really I thought very interesting that I wanted to share with you guys today. Check this out. Like, not only are they coming back, right? Not only fireworks back, not only is Casey back, but they're hiring very quickly. I noticed that the cast members housing, the interns are back. What do we call those guys? One of you Disney folks help me out there. The cast member housing is back open. The college program, there you go, is back open. But then check this out. Disney's giving a $1,000 hiring bonus for house cleaners, select culinary roles, and really they're trying to hire back with a vengeance. I'm lucky enough to help relocate a lot of Disney cast members from around the world here to Orlando, and we're getting calls a lot as well, like Imagineers moving here, people from the highest levels all the way to cast members relocating just in general. So we're seeing that. It's interesting. Disney is obviously having some trouble ramping back up to full speed. I don't think anybody really anticipated that we were going to have the influx of people and the ramp up that we are experiencing. You go on iDrive over here in Orlando, and every single restaurant, it's now hiring with bonus. And McDonald's is all of a sudden offering $10, $12, $15 an hour plus a $500 bonus if you stay for 2 weeks. And it's very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. I think pressures from all over. And I think that part of it could be the unemployment is, still kind of going on, although I know they got rid of some of that here in Florida. But it's amazing to see how many people are ramping up. And I was talking to somebody that works for Disney just this past week, and he said, so many of my friends had to, they got laid off from Disney through the pandemic. They moved away. And now some of them are starting to come back, but some people have moved on with their life, right? So now Disney's kind of scrambling. There's a lot of people scrambling, business owners. I'm one of them. We're hiring people left and right, trying to find good talent that really wants to grind it out and work hard. So that is really interesting, really, really interesting. So Josh, you said you got to see the fireworks from your bedroom the first night they started. Best experience ever, man. That is so cool. So for those of you who don't know Josh, he tunes in regularly, and I so appreciate it. He moved here, bought here not too far from our house, and he can see the fireworks from his house. Just moved in last week, which is so cool. What's going on, Alex from New York? The suburb by O'Hare. So Annette, so I see the Mickey ears there. You're in Chicago. Are you looking to move down here, or are you just a Disney fan? I'm always curious. Yeah, Laura, looking at the happily ever after, like the stuff that was online, like on Instagram, that sort of thing this week was just like, definitely brought a bit of a tear to my eye. What's going on? Home Compass, South New Jersey agent. What's going on? Carol from Ontario. Good to see you. Johnny Manning, my dude right here from down the road, down I-4. Good to see you guys. Awesome. Barry Ann, he says, I actually retire in 2 years in 2023, collect your pension. Where do you see the housing market in July of 2023? And what will be the place to live in Central Florida? So, I mean, really that comes down to budget, unfortunately. So whatever's kind of like, whatever your budget can allow is what's going to be something that you're going to look at. But let's actually dive into a couple new areas that are coming in that I think are interesting. Let's go over here. So I've already talked about this a little bit in the past, but I thought I'd bring some clarity around it because honestly, I know I didn't do a good enough job explaining it because I didn't put eyes on it. And this week I was able to put eyes on the new Sunbridge location. And so some of you guys have reached out and said, hey, Ken, we heard you kind of mention it briefly. What does this mean? So this is going to be the Sunbridge neighborhood. Tavistock, which I'm a fan of, they're actually, they built out Lake Nona, they built out Isleworth, they built out Lake Nona Country Club, big developer here in Orlando. They have probably the biggest land holdings in anywhere else. They made a deal with the Mormon Church to buy a ton of land, not just like to build a neighborhood, but let me just kind of give you some examples of like where this is and how big this actually is. So here we go. This is, for those of you who don't know, you've got the airport here. I think, there we go. You got the airport here, which the airport's not small. It's going to be even bigger here shortly. Then you've got this Lake Nona area right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Someone give me a thumbs up or a yes or no. And then Sunbridge is essentially all of this land out here, like all the way down here. And it actually spans two separate counties. It's here, this Lake Myrtle right here, this Lake Preston, all the way down here. I was kind of figuring it out, talking to some folks, and they basically have enough runway to build this out for the next 20 to 25 years. They have they could build 1,000 houses every year for 20 years and not run out of land. And so that's huge. It's a huge development. And they're going to, the cool thing about it, it has a little bit of topography. So it's going to be able to, along this all these lakes and that kind of thing. And so they're going to keep a lot of the conservation. And I think this is going to be really cool. Now, if you are from Orlando or Orlando well, you know that like Narcoossee is a really tough road. It gets bottlenecked quite a bit. Well, they're bringing in, I just found this out, in the next 3 to 4 years, 4 years is what they're targeting. But the money's been already allocated, so they've started bringing it in. They're bringing a road from 417 all the way down and over into Narcoossee. So you're going to be able to skip this huge bottleneck, which is terrible, from 417 on Narcoossee all the way down and then jump over into Sunbridge. So it's amazing. I think it has a lot of legs. I think it's got a lot of good opportunity for people in the future. If you're thinking about where to move. So I think Lake Nona is going to be big. Laureate Park 2, for those of you that have asked me in the past, Laureate Park 2, it sounds like it's coming online later this year, like December, which means you could be moving in as early as like next fall, 2023. There's a lot of development coming in over there. I really think that's going to be sort of like the place to be. It's either that or Horizon West. But just to see what's going in investment wise is really, really like impressive. One other thing I thought I'd show you guys as I'm kind of diving into what I found was like, look how many jobs there are. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really dove into other cities, but to me, going through just on one website, there's like over 30,000 full-time jobs and a bunch of other temporary jobs here. And so again, it's not just me, it's not just Disney, it's a lot of people looking to hire. There's construction. If you're looking to start a construction job, you're like in New York and Jersey, and you're like a super good plumber or electrician, you should maybe consider moving to Orlando, because there's so many tradespeople that we absolutely need in a really big way here. And honestly, I think, for everything from roofers to plumbers to, to finished trades, like I can't find a craftsman that can do some finished trades for us to save my life. Everybody's booked up 6, 9, 12 months. And so I'm sure this is happening in other places in the country as well, but to watch it happen in my backyard has been, it's been amazing to watch. And I think the other cool thing that it's not just theme parks, it's so much beyond that. I was talking to somebody else, they were telling me that like UCF and UF medical school, like, so their doctorate programs over in Lake Nona, they're going to be like quadrupling the size of the campus over the next decade. It's a lot of cool stuff, man. I'm really, really excited about what's going on here. So let me get in a couple more things and we'll get into your guys' questions real quick. What did I see that I wanted to show you? Oh, here's a good one. So for those of you, I don't know how well you know what Century City is. To be quite honest with you, I had to do a little bit of digging. But anytime you see a $4 billion, look at this, $4 billion valuation on new construction, that may be paused. Like, what the heck is that? And so I had to dive in and figure out what it's going to be. So it looks like, and I'll show you exactly where they're going to be building this. But actually, let's start there because that's probably more interesting than anything. Go to Celebration. Boom. All right. So those of you are at Celebration. Celebration's the town that Disney built, right? And so you've got right up World Drive here. You've got Magic Kingdom right up here. So if you want to be super close to Disney, Celebration might be where you want to live. And so right outside of Disney, you've got 192 right here. And then right above 192, it kind of goes into like a lot of empty land. You've got a couple hotels here. If you want to be close to Disney but not stay on Disney property, maybe you kind of take a look some of here. But you've got all of this land right here. And this is where this like Century City is going in. So they've got right off of Osceola Parkway, all of this land right here. They're going to be putting in a $4 billion development. And so it's going to be, it's going to be more tourism stuff, more hotels, more kind of things like that. But when I'm talking to my friends that own short-term rentals, they own short-term rental companies, they're telling me that like they've never seen such a high rate of bookings with the highest rate of people that are, per night paying. They've never seen it as high as it is right now. And so like ever pre-pandemic, it's incredible how many people are looking to come here. So like seeing somebody saying, hey, listen, I'm going to step up and put that kind of money forward, I think it's a big deal. Looked up Century City. They own a bunch of other hotels and kind of stuff. They're located in Dr. Phillips, their corporate headquarters. So they're here. They're an Orlando company. But going, why does this matter to you if you're looking to buy or sell a house, or if you're just living in Orlando already? Why that's important to me is that it's showing that they're very bullish on what's going on here, not only now, but in the future. Whether it's Tavistock looking into the decades into the future, or they're looking at Century City or Disney or any of these guys, they're investing billions and billions of dollars into our area, banking on the fact that we are going to continue to grow. And so for, every day I get a call, hey, Ken, we're going to move to Orlando and maybe rent because we think there's a crash coming. And I just, literally none of the indicators show that just yet. And if they do, I'll start saying, hey guys, this is not looking great. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. But right now, the amount of people moving here, the amount of jobs, the way that we're kind of recovering, we don't see a slowdown coming on. So let's dive in to some of your questions, because that's what this is all about today, is you guys, not so much me. So Nick says, my wife and I are moving to Orlando in 4 weeks and we'll rent first. Oh, didn't mean to say that. Sorry. Then plan on buying next year. Do you think that Q1 or Q3 is typically better for the sub 350 houses? So Nick, I'll tell you, typically Q1 used to be a little bit easier to buy a house because there was less competition and there was also less homes for sale. But usually Q1, you could kind of have less people you were competing with. Over the past 2 years, all like cyclical nature of our market has completely gone out the window. Nobody is waiting for school to get out anymore, right? They're renting for 6 months. They're renting for 6 months until they find something and then moving on it whenever they can. So usually like December, January used to be kind of our slower months in general. Now they're not. So my suggestion to you would be, if you rent something, that's fine for sure, but don't like wait for a certain time. Like as soon as you find a house, I would move on it then, because really that $350 and under budget is tough. Is tough to begin with. So the longer you wait, the more expensive that gets. Whether the interest rates go up or the prices go up, one of the two, it'll still cost you more money. Just something to think of. Yeah. So Steven asks, will Sunbridge have better access to the parks than Harmony does? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at where it's located. So you've got East Toho. Sorry, I'm kind of messing around here. So you've got East Toho. This is it right here. This is Sunbridge with a road coming in back to Narcoossee. So you could drop down to 192 and over. You could jump up and through this road here that's coming to 417 and down to the parks. Whereas Harmony is still kind of a bit. High school. So this is like a bit farther down. So 192 is really tough to go on because there's so many lights. Sorry, there we go. See a little bit more. So 192 is a bit tighter because there's so many lights, and to get all the way down here, it takes you quite a long time. And there's no way to quickly get through it because you've got the lakes, right? Really, the only feeder is really 192 at this point. So these guys are going to be able to pop up over to 417 and then out. So it'll be 10 minutes from Lake Nona, 15 minutes from Lake Nona or so, and then another 20 minutes to the parks. And I think it's going to be much more affordable than Lake Nona for sure. Are there closer places though? Yeah, like Davenport's probably still going to be closer. Claremont's still probably going to be closer, especially with what's coming to Claremont. But in terms of a master plan community with a lot coming to it, you might want to weigh the two options. Annette says, I'm looking for lower level accounting work. I think I'll be able to find work. More word for your husband. What's your husband do? Let me know. Yeah, Annette, that new area you're looking at as far as, I agree. It's funny. I agree. Sunbridge, and especially Harmony, St. Cloud in general, all of that seems really far to me. Now, once the roads get in and everything's kind of there, I think it'll be really accessible. I used to think Winter Garden was too far for me. Horizon West seemed like, wow, people. It's funny. Josh is a great example where Josh lives in Waterley, in Horizon West here. That everybody's like, wow, you're living all the way out there, and now it's like, oh yeah, that's where everybody lives. It's like super close. And so it really just depends on what's important to you, like how close you want to be to the theme parks, airport, like what kind of lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, good point. I'm working on JS to get the passes for the weekend. I was trying to get tomorrow and it was booked up. We just went this week though. And I think what we're gonna do is go check out like the Grand Floridian tomorrow night. If you guys haven't watched the fireworks from like the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, that's like a really cool place to watch the fireworks over the water. So you get a reservation at one of the restaurants and then pop over there. It's a good idea. Yeah. Jay mentions KPMG is one of the top 5 accounting firms, is having their training headquarters in Lake Nona. Not only that, but then they added a call center. They took like 120,000 square feet for their new call center. Their KPMG is really bullish on Orlando. They're investing a ton of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, bringing thousands of jobs here, which is cool. What's going on, Chris? Good to see you, man. Miami coffee boss right there. It's interesting. Speaking of Chris, I don't know why when you said coffee. So this Tuesday, we're releasing a new video on the best taco places in Orlando. And I got to try a bunch of really amazing tacos. My job's really tough. No, I'm just kidding. We took some time off to go try like all these different taco shops. And that's probably one of the other thing I'm really excited about. If you've been watching my lives since maybe the year that I've been doing it, or my videos prior to that, I would complain often that we didn't have enough it was like culinarily, like food wise, it was pretty rough here. It was mostly chain kind of stuff. But what's happening downtown and the outskirts, and maybe like downtown Winter Garden, downtown Winter Park, just little offshoots here and there. There's more and more really cool food scene coming here. And that to me is really cool. I met somebody the other day. He opened up a spot. He used to live in Vegas. Now he lives in downtown Orlando, creating his new little spot. You hear these stories around like the taco restaurants that I went to, all independent kind of people, new hamburger places. Just like I ate at Canvas yesterday in Lake Nona, and I tried ceviche for the first time. I'm not a seafood person at all, and it was the best thing I had ever had. They're like an independent kind of like non-chain. There's a lot more of that stuff coming. And to me, that makes me very, very happy. I think that supporting local is huge to me, but then also like diversity of like the types of food and all of that coming is really cool. Foxtail, I'm not drinking foxtail today because I didn't want to drive all the way over there, but eventually they're coming right closer to me. Like all these little cool locally independent shops that are thriving. Jeff's Bagel Run. If you guys want like literally the best bagels I've ever had, and I've been to New York and tried them all up there. Jeff's Bagel Run, which just opened up in Ocoee. He used to do it all from his house, and he did like small batch orders. You could go online on Instagram, and like at 7 a.m. on Sunday, you could order for the following week, and they would be sold out in like 10 minutes. Well, now he opened up a physical location in Ocoee, and there's a line. Like he opens up at 7, and there's a line to get in. He's usually sold out by like, I think, 8:30, 9 o'clock, he's sold out for the day. So cool. I like that stuff. I think that I'm always rooting for the small business owner. And to me, digging into Orlando, taking advantage of everything coming here is super cool. All right, Bruce asks, is Dr. Phillips a more desirable area than Windermere? It really depends what you're thinking for or what you're looking for. So, Windermere has more lakefront property. There's a little cute downtown with a little farmer's market. Dr. Phillips is a bit of a different breed. You've got a lot more gated communities. You have Restaurant Row there. You've got O-Town West coming there. You've got it's just a different vibe. I think they both have fairly good, well-rated schools. Proximity wise, Windermere is kind of tough to get through because you have to snake through all the lakes just to get there. But Dr. Phillips is a little bit more accessible. My office is in Dr. Phillips. We really like the area because it's equidistant to everything. I can be downtown, theme parks, everywhere within 30 minutes. So we love that area for our office. But really, again, it just comes down to like your styling and your price point for sure. Both are fairly expensive. All right. Hey, this is a good question. So for Annette, so here's one. If you go on Indeed, my chair is so squeaky today. I need to get a new one. Wait till I tell you the story about my new office chair. When it gets here, I'll tell you the story. I'm very excited. It's coming hopefully in the next 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, it sounds like. Here, Annette, I want to talk to you specifically. So I noticed when I was going through the Indeed jobs that I know and I didn't say he's a trial lawyer and he's in printing, but like Dan Newland and Morgan & Morgan and all of these, there's some massive attorney firms here in Orlando that service all of Florida, but are based in Orlando. I would definitely check out some of those big ones here. So Morgan & Morgan, I think some of the other ones, Dan Newland and Morgan & Morgan are the big ones. But anyways, if he's working for a law firm, I think that, obviously transfer fairly well. If he's in like marketing and printing and that kind of thing. Okay, Nick, we tried Hunger Street tacos, and yeah, they were really good. They were really good. They weren't my favorite of the ones we tried, but they were very far up there, and great location, easy to get to. Here's a good question. So from Josh, he said, is there any good pest control companies in Orlando? So it's Home Team is who we use. Home Team and Massey are the two really big ones. There's a lot of like mom and pops, but Home Team, I like Home Team. They do a really good job. And like usually they have the same person come out every time. So like you get to know your guy, and they're really like responsive. If you see any bugs on the inside, or maybe, every other week, I think we have them come out and they take their little wand and they get up in the corners and make sure that all the bugs are gone. And so it keeps it clean and bug free. So Andrew asks, any advice on where to look for short-term rentals in the Disney area under $2,000? Are you asking like $2,000 a month, or what are you thinking there? It's hard to get anything like $150, $200 a night at this point. But there's still plenty of like 3-4 bedroom. Actually, I know of a 5-bedroom townhome. And so if you go to Greenway Property Management, I know that the owner's there, Kim Ferguson, she's amazing. Obviously, you can check out Airbnb, VRBO, those kind of things. And so, but yeah, you're probably going to be looking more like a townhome kind of thing. SK asks, what are the average taxes for all new construction in the $500 to $600 range? You're going to be looking probably $7,500 to $9,000 a year. So depending on the area and like what's in there, but $7,500 seems about right for that mid fives. And so the way that we're assessed, it's like 1.4% of the assessed value. But the assessed value doesn't usually line up perfectly with market value. It's kind of a weird thing. Assessed value is usually a little bit less. And then if it's your homestead, if you live there full time, you actually get a taxable and assessed value reduction. It's a $50,000 reduction. So at the $500,000 mark, you get a 10% discount on your taxes. But yeah, about 7,500 is it's about right. Hey, Damon, good to see you, man. He said, if you answered this already, don't worry about it. Yeah, so Western Way to be completed from Claremont. I actually left, it's actually the Orange County side. Claremont's done. They're waiting for Orange County. So Claremont is in Lake County. I actually inquired this week about that because it's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week people ask me that question. And so I was trying to get an idea. I was looking on the permitting report. I haven't seen when it's going to get finished. I haven't seen, the money's already been allocated, but it's not just the connection that they need to make, that little 100-yard space. It's the road from there all the way to Avalon that they got to kind of finish the whole thing, because they're not just going to make the little connection. They're going to redo that whole road. And so once it happens, I think it'll be fairly quick, because you look at like Western Way from Disney all the way to Avalon, they did that in like 4 months. Like it's a really fairly quick process once they start. But I will definitely be shouting from the rooftops as soon as I hear. Fencing companies, Superior Fencing over there. Josh, shoot me an email, ken@pozekgroup.com. I'll send you my contact over there. But Superior Fencing does a good job. Good question, NYC Iron. Good to see you again, by the way. So Sunbridge, they started it already, but it only is the 55 and older community. And then the actual construction is for the rest of it. The first phase of the next like normal non-55 and older community is going to be next year. Yeah, so it's going to be like mid to late next year that they'll be rolling. Here's an interesting thing about Sunbridge that I learned this week. So like Comcast, Spectrum, Smart City, they wouldn't bring cable over there because it was like too far. They just didn't have any. If you look on the map, I mean, it's like no man's land over there. So Tavistock decided to create and partner with their own communications company. I think they're calling it 832 Communications. And so it's the story that they were telling me today was like, it's a 55 and older community, but nobody has cable. And that's kind of interesting because the people that have usually cut the cords are typically under 55. And so the difference is they have like 2 gig speed. So it's like really fast internet. And they're like setting everybody up. You get to choose. Do you want YouTube live TV? Do you want, like all the different streaming versions of cable, right? So that they can get local channels. And so they're setting these people up, and they do like a concierge service upon closing at Sunbridge, the 55 and older. It's like, hey, what program do you want? Great. At closing, we'll sign you in, get you set up, and then you can control everything from your phone. And you're like, so I think it's really cool, because then you've got like these older folks that are now leading the way in technology in Orlando in that space. Like you've got like a whole neighborhood that's essentially cut the cord from the beginning. And I think that's cool, kind of a way to pivot instead of take advantage and make it a value instead of a hindrance. And I think that's when you're talking about smart companies, that's like what you got to do. But anyways. Carol says, does Golden Oak allow patio enclosures? Any other limited regulations in Golden Oak? Yeah, they don't allow the patio, like the screened enclosures. Just from a perspective, they have a spray truck go in there. I think it's multiple times a week to keep the bugs down. and they do a really good job. I've been at night parties there and have never had an issue. And usually that's why people do the screen enclosures. Warrior Sharp, new person to the channel. I still appreciate you hanging out. Actually, there's a bunch of new people today, which is awesome. I love hanging out with my regulars, but I want to make sure our channel's growing, like 1,000, 1,500 people a month. And so being able to hang out with you guys on a Saturday means a lot. So are there any new communities coming into Horizon West? Yes, there's like 6 new communities coming, and I'm very excited about it because it's like so long overdue. But Toll Brothers has a new community, Ashton Woods, Taylor Morrison, Dreamfinders, MI Homes has more extension of their Ovation neighborhood. I think that's it. But yeah, there's a bunch more coming later this year. Toll Brothers has already started cutting roads, and they'll probably start selling later this year. But then later this year, you're going to see a lot more get released and do new names, which means basically fall of next year is when you're going to be looking to move into many of these. But there's a lot more coming, which is like a sigh of relief for me. All right, what do we got here? Oh, good question, Andrew. So he asks, so can you explain how Homestead works and when to apply for it? You contracted on new construction to be completed around December. Yeah, so you have to get your Homestead, because we pay our taxes in arrears here. We pay them in advance here. So in March, before March 31st, you have to get your homestead in. So just do it in January. Like as soon as your deed's recorded, you're going to go online, grab the link, your builder or your agent, or email me. I'll send you a link, and you apply for it online. They're going to ask you for typically your closing statement or a copy of your deed, along with like a utility bill that'll show that you're using that as your primary residence, and then you can apply. And so you get, like I said, it's a $50,000 reduction in your assessed value. But then if you're a veteran, you get an additional discount. If you're a disabled veteran, you get an even bigger discount. So there's if you're over a certain age, you get a discount. So there's a lot of things to think in there when you're applying for your homestead. But they'll ask you right online. And so if you don't, in your new construction, they're going to assess you at a much higher value. So Josh, if you're watching still, man, make sure you and your wife file for homestead sooner than later. As soon as you get that deed in the mail, probably within the next, if you guys closed 2 weeks ago, like 45 days or so, you guys should get that in the mail. Hey, Big Thunder Craig. So listen, how far in advance do you want it? Should we reach out? Yeah. So I think, reach out as far in advance as possible. It's totally fine if it's 2, 3, 4, 10 years in advance. We'll stay in contact with you from time to time. Obviously, I would much rather hear from people way in advance than like, hey, we're in town. Can you show us houses tonight? Because my personal schedule books up probably 10 days in advance, but I do have a team of amazing rock stars. And so we're going to find somebody for you if it is that quickly, but as far in advance is totally fine. What's up? Pelpit IRN. I thought it was Palpatine for a minute there. Is Claremont a good place to rent? What are the pros and cons? So Claremont's huge. It's so huge. There's 3 zip codes, and it goes from, I'm going to bring back up my little map just to kind of give you guys an idea. Let's see. Where is it at? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Claremont's huge. And so if you look at how big it is, again, it really comes down to where you want to be. But Claremont's basically, all the way up here. This is like downtown Claremont, all the way back down to over here. So all the way up and down 27. It's huge. So depending on like where you want to be, depending on what's important to you, if that's if it's schools, if it's proximity to the parks, if it's proximity to your job. Claremont's also like not terribly far from, if you want to like jump on 50 and then go over to like the 408, you can be downtown fairly quick if you're in North Claremont, right? And so it depends on what's important to you. Downtown has a little bit less new construction in the downtown area of Claremont. Down 27, you're going to get like a newer home, and so you can take advantage of that. If you want to take advantage of like that new Western Way coming in, like the whole Serenoa area is great, and so you can rent something in there and eventually be very quick and close to Disney. But I think it's a great area. I think Claremont, although there's not a ton of like, there's the Olympus coming in, which is great. There's not a ton of commercial infrastructure going into Claremont beyond a few things here and there. But it's a bedroom community, much like Horizon West. So you've got a lot of neighborhoods, a little bit more affordable in Claremont. And so that's why I'm a big fan. This is good. This is a good one. So Josh asks, you're planning on getting a pool enclosure and everyone has screen enclosures. Would you say that's 100% necessary, or can you live without one? So it depends what you back up to. Like if you back up to a pond or you back up to conservation, you're going to have a few more bugs than normal. And so if you want to keep out snakes and lizards and bugs, a screen enclosure is great. There's a reason why they exist, and there's a reason why. But you have more and more neighborhoods where people just aren't putting them up because of, you know, the different things that you can do. There's like the this mosquito nick systems now where they spray like this citrus, kills all the bugs in the air, and you know, you can keep your backyard relatively bug free. We live like backing up to conservation, and we're doing this like new screen room, or like a outdoor living room. We're going to put screens on the side of it though, because backing to conservation, we have a ton of bugs back there. So it just depends on where you're at in your neighborhood. Conservation, pond, grab one. If not, I wouldn't. I think because it blocks the UV rays from the sun. You got an extra layer of maintenance to take care of when the wind comes. I'm not a fan, but I'm going to have to do something here personally. So do I have an opinion on Reunion vacation rental management? So, I mean, Reunion vacation. So if you're talking about the on-site rental management, so they kind of like, you know, sort of force you to use them if you want to own and rent in Reunion, and then rent it out, and then allow those people to utilize the amenities. And so it's sort of a forced location, forced business relationship. I've had great dealings with them personally, like dealing with the ladies over there. They're always like super informative. Their maintenance people are on site, and so they're really quick to get to places. But anytime you're kind of forced to use somebody, it's going to obviously could potentially breed apathy. I'm not saying that they're apathetic on what they do, but that's just like the only downside, is that when you've got like one name in the game. But again, if you want to use it as a short-term rental and you want it to be super smooth, you need to use them on site. Thanks for watching, by the way. So I saw above that you said you found us on Reunion, so we're on the YouTubes. Hold on a second. All right, so Nick says, have I seen the commercial construction going in at Flamingo Crossing? Specifically, have you heard anything as far as the timing for Target opening? Well, the building looks to be going up. I know Walgreens looks like it's almost up. There's a bunch of those buildings that are probably 3 to 6 months from being ready to be opened. I was shocked, Nick. I don't know if you saw the hotels going up, but they started them right as COVID started going on, and they finished them probably 4 months ago. It was so fast how they finished them. And then not only that, but then now they're packed every single night. You go by there because they're like a little bit farther away. And for those of you who don't know who Flamingo Crossing is, like Flamingo Crossing is Disney. They own, let's see, Western Way. This is it right here. So you got, bring this in a little bit. So you got World Showcase. This is Epcot over here. I wish I could, if somebody knows how to make my mouse kind of like bounce or flicker when I'm doing this, that would be dope. All right. So anyways, but you've got World Showcase here. You can come down here, drop down. You got Western Way out the back way of Disney. And you've got all this stuff over here. Okay. So now Disney owns all of these. All of this right here is where like all the new cast member housing is. And if you haven't looked up the new cast member housing, I am like hella jealous of these college kids that get to live in these dormitories. They're like, they're just so nice, and like it's incredible. But anyways, Flamingo Crossing is all over here. And so you've got these new hotels that are actually, let's see right here, Hilton Home 2 Suite, 5-star review. They're fairly affordable, and that's why I think they're so booked. You got the Fairfield, Hilton, and then right here you've got like Target going in, Walgreens going in, and it's not a super Target, which we're used to here in Florida. It's like going to be an abbreviated Target. Really what it is they're trying to take care of all of the college kids and people staying at the hotel. But you've got a lot of stuff going in here. And then right down, this is Hogsart Over here, you've got, this is where all of the new neighborhoods of Horizon West are going, right here. Boom, boom, boom. You've got Pulte, Oasis, Toll Brothers, all that kind of stuff. And then if you go right up through Horizon or Western Way, this is going to kind of connect over into Ovation. You've got a lot more neighborhoods here. This is sort of the last frontier of Horizon West that's going to be developed out. So anyway, I know if you have questions about that. Just probably blew through quite a few. That's a good question. So Laura asks, are golf courses and amenities within the gated communities open to the public? If so, how does that affect general security of the community? Great question. That's every neighborhood's different. So Eagle Creek over in Lake Nona, they have their gated neighborhood, but a public golf course. And then to get back into the residential areas, they have another layer of gates. And so that's usually if it's public, that's usually at Keens Point over in Windermere, though. It's a private course, but you don't have to live there to belong to the membership. So if you want to get a golf membership, you can go play golf there. Fantastic, beautiful course, but you don't have to live there, and it is within a gated neighborhood. So I think for the most part, they do a really good job. Over in Winter Garden, there's a neighborhood that was, the golf course was shuttered. That was a public course, and then it was in a gated neighborhood. And really, once you got through the gates, they could go anywhere they wanted to. So it's like the level of security is all over. So like understanding that like minute details are going to be important. So that's the stuff you can't find on Zillow. That's why you hire like a good agent that knows the neighborhoods in and out. What do you mean, Brian? My favorite way of getting leads. I don't know. What do you mean there? I know I missed a ton. Hold on, let's see. I appreciate it, Apple. Working on a huge deal in the tech field. Well, best of luck to you. And I would love to help you buy a house in Golden Oak. There's only 3 for sale right now. So Carlos asked, if I won the lottery, like $5 million, and I want to buy a house that's up to $1 million, buy a house between 500 and $1 million, would you pay off the house? What would you do? Honestly, if I won $5 million, and I don't know that I would buy a house cash. I think I would probably finance some portion of it, put my money back into the market. You're getting more money in the market than you are paying interest. I mean, right now interest rates are like high 2s, low 3s still. So until that's different, I don't know that I'm like, I used to super aggressively pay off my primary resident. That used to be something that I would focus in on every month, putting extra principal down. But honestly, right now, the way that it's so cheap, I'm investing in other stuff, trying to keep my money working for me. Yeah, I agree. I'm disappointed it's not a super target as well, because it's pretty close to my house. And yeah. Here's a good point. So Manuel, you asked, so what are my thoughts about Kissimmee? Again, Kissimmee's much like Celebration or Claremont. It's huge. There's so many zip codes to Claremont to Kissimmee. You've got downtown Kissimmee all the way up through the parks and resorts. Celebration is actually part of Kissimmee, believe it or not. 34747 is Kissimmee. They just have it zoned mailing wise as Celebration, but it's an unincorporated part of Kissimmee. And so depending on where you're looking, it's good and bad. You know, there's plenty of ups and downs. Some of areas are zoned short-term rental. And so you got to think, do you want to live in a short-term rental community, or do you want to own a short-term Airbnb? That could be. So there's some beautiful, amazing areas of Kissimmee. Down over on the lakes, like the East Toho and Toho Lake, gorgeous, huge lakes. But then, you know, you get a little bit farther down, it's hard to get to some areas. But just like any area, there's some good and bad. Yeah, I asked about the little ding, ding, ding. I'm using a Mac, unfortunately, but I should figure that out. That would be good. It's in mouse settings. I'll check it out. Oh my gosh, Ned Kelly, dude, 45 minutes in, you show up. I'm just kidding. Good to see you, man. Santiago says he's thinking about purchasing an Eagle Trace at Reunion. What's your view on short-term rentals there? I think that Reunion for the money is in an amazing location, and that It's going to, as far as rentals go, it's always going to be rented out. I think the management fees and the HOA fees are kind of cost prohibitive. So there's like a trade-off back and forth there for you. I think that, looking in the downturn, I don't think there's going to be a downturn, but I'm always like, what's worst case scenario? In the downturn, Reunion got hurt less than some of the other areas of Kissimmee, like farther away. And so the sheer proximity of Reunion is going to protect you kind of long-term and keep your bookings up. So yeah, I think that's good. It's a good product, good area. Hey, Cooper, I've got an update on the Del Webb in Oasis and Winter Garden. It's been stalled for so long, but they are moving quite a bit of dirt. And I've got an update from their local sales manager coming out this week. So I'll definitely talk about it on future lives. But if you want to shoot me an email, I'll give you updates as soon as I hear back. What's going on? Anything else you guys want to chat about? Some good questions. Oh, I missed a ton of them. Crud. So you mentioned about renting in Fort Myers, 55 and older. I don't sell that far south, but I do have two friends that do only sell Fort Myers in like the Sarasota area. So if you want to shoot me an email, I can put you in contact with them. What's up, Miss Page? Miss Page, for those of you that don't know, she kind of runs our operations. Not kind of, she runs our operations for our team of now 16 people, and she does an incredible job. Some of you have worked with us, Paige. She helps us behind the scenes and is amazing. Oh, this is a fantastic question. What's up, Vanier family? So in 3 to 5 years, do I think you're going to be building more new homes in Groveland, St. Cloud, or Davenport? I think St. Cloud has more land. I think Groveland is an amazing opportunity just from a sheer because Claremont's inexpensive in comparison to like Windermere or Winter Garden, but Claremont's starting to get more expensive than it was, just like everything is. Groveland's kind of like the next piece. And so to me, I like the Groveland area. It's actually fairly easy to get to, fairly easy to get downtown, where St. Cloud feels a little bit farther still to me. So I think Groveland from a livability and future standpoint, I think it's going to be great. But then St. Cloud, you do have proximity to Kissimmee and Lake Nona and all that. Davenport, I would stick with the first two first. That's all. That's me. Sorry, I want to get back, hit all these. I'm not sure how they popped through. I got on a rant, I think, and then you guys threw a bunch through, which is great. Oh, congrats on September. So moving Hunters Creek. Somebody mentioned this on one of my other videos and they dropped it in the comments. Like they kind of spammed me about it, but they're like, why don't you talk about Hunters Creek? Hunters Creek's a great example of a neighborhood that's an area of Orlando, Kissimmee, that's completely built out. I think in 1992, it was like the top 5 neighborhoods in the country or something like that. But proximity wise, it's great. Closer to the airport, you can pop up to Lake Nona, you can pop over to the parks. It's a great neighborhood, mostly older houses, but you are noticing a lot of people going back into Hunters Creek. There's golf community, a lot of golf communities over there. You're noticing a lot of people going to Hunters Creek, remodeling houses, and it's had us a little bit of a come up lately, which I think is cool. You can still get homes in the 300s, which is like something newer, 300, 400 for a pool home, hard to come by. So congratulations on your new house. CMB, I think they're going to be, from what I hear, they're going to be starting in the high 400s. That doesn't include lot premium or anything like that. Toll Brothers also has, I guess, a new neighborhood coming in. There's going to be like 50, 60 houses starting at $1 million right in Lake Nona. They have another one. It's like only 12 homes. I think that's going so well that now they bought some other land. I'm actually going to do a video because Toll Brothers, if you've watched my stuff in the past, Toll Brothers is one of my favorite production builders. And I'm going to do a video probably in the next week or two on all of their neighborhoods that are coming from downtown to Winter Garden and dig into their product. Bella Colina, they ghosted for a while. I don't know if their land development guy just kind of like was asleep at the wheel or something, but all of a sudden now they're coming back with a vengeance. And that excites me because I think they do build a really good house, but they had sold out everywhere. So. So let's ask this. So this is a good question, Brian. So you said you live permanently in Reunion with the goal of having rental properties here too. So Brian, Byron, I'm sorry, not Brian, Byron. You live in there full time. So looking at the tax records, it would appear that only like 10 to 15% of Reunion is full time homeowners, like people living there as Homestead. How do you like living in a neighborhood that is predominantly short term rental? I think Reunion's beautiful. Like they keep it super nice, gated golf community, amazing amenities, great location in the parks. There's a lot to like about Reunion. I am curious though, like what you think about, your neighbors kind of coming and going as, is that as big of a deal as I would make it, or do you think it's not a big deal? Rebecca, you said, can you tell me about Deer Island and Tavares? I know the Stream Fighters is building there now. Yes, they are. And if you reach out to Bree on my team and let her know that we just talked, Bree, Bree at pozekgroup.com. She lives there, like right next to where you're talking about, and was just telling me about this neighborhood. And so she's really well versed. Bree at pozekgroup.com. If you reach out to her, she will crush it for you. She's like top agent on my team. Amazing. This question Jay asks me all the time. I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm excited about the future, though. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. Most love thing about Florida and most dislike thing about living in Florida. Well, dude, you're a Floridian now, like 2 weeks in. What are your favorite things? I think my most favorite thing are, the winters here are amazing. I think how much stuff there is to do here is amazing. That's no state income tax is amazing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that's the majors. The dislikes are probably the bugs and the July, August heat, and that's probably the only downers for me. Hurricanes are, Central Florida anyways. I'm not as super worried about Elsa coming up. Elsa is coming up if you guys don't know. I got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Florida in general. I don't see myself going anywhere. That's for sure, man. I hope you enjoy it as well. Yeah. So Carlos says he bought a house in Narcoossee, right in St. Cloud, just 5 minutes south of Lake Nona. What can you say about that area? I think that, I just sold one right where you live. Like gorgeous new little house for 325, like a year old house with a gate, beautiful, beautiful little house. And the proximity, I was surprised at how close it is to Lake Nona and everything. That's why I think that like northern St. Cloud is going to do extremely well because for those people that are getting priced out of Lake Nona and Moss Park and all these other areas, I think St. Cloud is going to have a really nice little come up, especially that northern part that's sort of going to touch. And then once that extender comes in down from 417 to Narcoossee, the second one, that's going to blow up that whole area. So I think it's still a value play in that area of south of St. Cloud. So congrats on the house. I think it's a great area. So Don, I saw you mention a few different times here a question. I don't see your original question though. I don't know if it came through. But let me know if I missed you. I apologize if I did. You said you love the decorations, share some details and brag. So yeah, this has been like years and years and years in the making. So I don't know. I've got a lot of stuff to show off and there's a lot more over here that is even more exciting. But yeah, I've got this guy right here, original 1980 poster from Star Wars. This gun right here, it's just resin, it's fake. But that's from the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So just a stunt gun, they use that. This right here is from Deathly Hallows. Oops, what am I doing here? That one right there, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows. Like when you're, they have all these flyers flying around. That's from that one. This is from 1978. It's a poster of the Magic Kingdom Park. This right here is original blueprint from Pirates of the Caribbean ride. So an Imagineer was selling off an original blueprint. It's huge, but I got it kind of blown up. Let's see. Yeah, lots of stuff. Vader, Iron Man, Iron Man. Oh, this is really cool. Lost. That's from the hatch in the movie, in the show Lost. That's the original prop from there. I've got a trash can up there. Anyways, lots of stuff. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Sort of my den. Throw on a vinyl record, which I've recently got into, and it's a cool place to work. Listen, I am not afraid to paddleboard with gators. Hurricane is not... For those of you who didn't see our video this week, we did paddleboarding at night in downtown Orlando. And honestly, I was scared out of my mind to go paddleboarding in the ponds, but then also to do it at night. But we felt very safe. The people had been doing it for years, and that our guides that were down there, and we had lights on the bottom of our paddle boards. And she's like, listen, the gators like to hang out on the shores near the long weeds. We're in the middle. We're fine. That's what she said anyways. And so that's what she said. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. It was like $75. It was an Airbnb experience. And for those of you that haven't done Airbnb experiences, I noticed just recently we're doing a whole video series on it. There's like dozens of really cool things. Our next one we're going to do is haunted downtown Orlando shops and that kind of thing. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Am I doing any more Golden Oak videos? So Golden Oak is sold out. And so my goal there now is to then start selling resales there and taking on more listings in Golden Oak. And so as we do so, we're going to blow the videos up because those are obviously well received. And so amazing opportunity to show some content there. And so Annette, Belle Isle or Conway, good for houses. My partner Joseph lives there. We did a video. If you look at like living in Orlando on the lake, he lives on Lake Conway. He just closed on his new house and he's like massively thrilled. I loved it. He took me out on his boat on the Conway chain. It's gorgeous. And then again, proximity to the airport, and then downtown is amazing. So it's a cool little lake community and not one we've done a video on before, but for sure. Iona says, can I comment on Leesburg? Leesburg's, it's up there. It's if Paige is still watching, she lives out that way. But it's a little bit of a poke from everything. But I think the value there, you can get a nice house for tremendous value, like tremendous value. Let's see. Yeah, Leesburg, Tavares, and then Leesburg's right next to the villages. So like you could take advantage of everything that's going on in the villages really, really easily because the proximity is so nice. Holly says there's no way it's a paddleboarding thing. I'll tell you what, like if you believe it or not, like if you like standing up is the hardest part. And then after that, you're good. I was just trying to think of like, don't fall over. And it worked out really well. Right. Let's see. Peabody, Don says, where are the questions at? I don't see the responses. Listen, if you guys have any questions in the meantime, I don't want to leave too much dead air here, but if you have questions that I didn't answer today, feel free to email me or follow me over on Instagram at Ken Pozek. Happy to chat with you guys there. I interact with dozens of people a day, just asking about life in Orlando. Happy to do that. So at Ken Pozek. I also share off, stuff that we see in Orlando, theme park stuff. Tonight we're going to watch the fireworks, all that kind of stuff. So definitely follow me over there. I'd love to interact with you. Anything I can do to help you guys in your journey, buying, selling, moving, all that good stuff. Here we go. This is the question I was hoping to get answered before we wrap up today. So Byron says, many positive. For those of you who don't know, maybe just tuning in, I asked Byron how he likes living in Reunion, being that so many of the homes there are short-term rentals versus long-term people living there. And he says many positive and negative of living in Reunion. The rental clientele are typically respectful. We occasionally have party crowds. Last year, there were lots of house parties. I would guess they probably a lot of house parties because of the pandemic, right? I've only been, in the short-term area 5 or 6 years now, but talking to my property manager friends that really dig into that area, they said that they had more house party issues last year than ever before. And I think that's because a lot of like downtown, venues were shut down. All these different venues were shut down. And so it's like, hey, for $300 a night, I can charge a cover for people to get in the door. But I know homeowners associations have really started cracking down so that stuff does not happen. And there's a little bit of a pivot that they had to do to make sure that they weren't having too many parties. But I'm glad you like living there. I think it's a beautiful neighborhood. So congratulations. RJ asks, how's the Providence community in Davenport? I think Providence is great. Again, it's a little bit farther away from everything, but it's like one of those neighborhoods where they built it in a great area. It's so huge, and then you've got all this stuff kind of coming around it. But it's a great golf community. You've got a little bit of short-term rental, but mostly long-term ownership side in there. It is gated. The amenity is beautiful. And I think you get a little bit of a discount because of how far away it is, but I don't think that it'll feel so far away forever. And so for the most part, like ABD is a really good builder in there. So yeah, it's a good option. I don't have a Discord. That's interesting. Somebody else mentioned that earlier. Yeah, private clubs in the houses. Yeah, they go get a baller house for even like $800 a night, and then they charge a $20 cover to get in, and they're making thousands of dollars a night. And they had all these people out there. It's some big issues, but it sounds like these security guard companies, some of them are much better than others. Reunions is I think good because it's just the sheer size of their staff. They have things to take care of it, so I'm sure you'll be good. But I think we're going to wrap up for today. I'm excited about everything coming here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Over 100 of you guys come and hung out live. I'm sure lots of you will watch this replay. Make sure you comment below on your questions. Follow me on Instagram. Shoot me an email if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in Central Florida. I have a team of agents that specialize. Like earlier, I mentioned Bree specializes in that Mount Dora, Tavares area. And so I've got people that know exactly what you're looking for, and we can help you at a really high level and hopefully make your move here to Central Florida something that's fantastic. So thank you again so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Talk to you soon.